I don't think you need to feel inspired every time you pick up the camera. In fact, I think it's common that our mind just suddenly goes. We all have those moments where we don't know where to start. So we walk around, film whatever catches our eye, and hope it will somehow make sense later. But the problem is, when it's time to edit, there's no story to tell. Just a collection of beautiful shots. Footage that looks nice, but doesn't say anything. It took a lot of wasted footage before I figured out what I was actually missing. And it's simpler than you think. It's not about talent or timing or creativity. It's a system. Here are 5 essential shots that can help you tell almost any story. And once you see them, you notice that you already have most of them. You can't tell a story if nobody knows where it's happening. The wider the shot, the more scale it gives the story. It's what tells someone this is a small island, or this is a packed stadium, or this is the middle of nowhere. This is always the first shot I look for. If the place itself is the main character, I usually make myself or the subject really small in the frame. It helps the viewer feel the scale. For examples, if I'm filming a coffee shop, I start outside. The building, the sign, the atmosphere, with the cars and motorbikes passing by. If I'm hiking, I don't start with my shoes. I start with the mountain. If I'm exploring a market, I capture the whole atmosphere first before I show any individual stall. Well, the hard part about including yourself in this shot is that nobody's there to help you with the framing. So block it first. Press record, walk to where you think you'll stop and check. Once it looks right, mark the spot with your eyes or a rock or anything that reminds you that you have to stop here. Then reset and do the real take. Stock footage can actually be perfect for these establishing shots, but I'll come back to this later. Now that the audience knows where we are, it's time to show them what's happening. Let's say I'm having a picnic on the beach. I capture a few specific actions in wide shot. Laying the mat down, dropping the bag, sitting down, pulling out some stuff in the bag. I like this shot to feel like the viewer is just observing and not like I am performing for the camera. So I put something in the foreground between the camera and me. So it feels like you're watching through it rather being shown it darkly. Quick question though. Did you already subscribe to the Storyblocks channel? If you have been enjoying this so far and you like learning about filmmaking, visual storytelling, what are you still doing here? Go subscribe. I'm gonna sit here until you do. This is where you bring the camera a little closer. The question I always ask myself here is that who or what is this moment happening to? Because the wide shot introduces you to the story, but the medium shot connects you to the subject inside it. Most people feel uncomfortable filming this shot, including me, because the camera is literally right there. There's nowhere to hide from it. The fix isn't trying to act natural. It's giving your hand a job before you hit record. And here's one that also makes the edit easier. Pick 1 or 2 actions you already did in the previous shot and just do them again for the next shot. I know it feels awkward and repetitive while filming it, but in the edit, you would thank yourself for pushing through. After the medium shot shows the person, this is where I slow everything down. The close-up is simple. It's just one detail. This is the shot that makes people say a video feels cinematic, and it has nothing to do with the camera gear. It's just attention. This is also the shot I have the most fun with, and I usually save it for last because by this point, it's basically just play. I always end up overshooting this part, so the extras become B-roll I can use in the future. This shot pulls the viewer into the moment instead of watching it from outside. It's the first shot where the viewer stops feeling like an observer and starts feeling placed inside the scene. I usually switch to manual focus for this one specifically and lock it on whatever's in the background, so my shoulder stays blurred. You can use this with almost any moment. The viewer just needs to feel like someone is there. With the shot list, the work already happened back when I was filming. I already know what each shot's job is, so I don't really need to search for a story. I'm just placing 5 puzzle pieces in the order they already fit. And this is also where I left off, back in the establishing shot part. As a solo creator, I don't always have access to crazy locations or gear. Most of the time, just me and a tripod. But what I can control is the edit. And this is where Storyblocks comes in for me. Sometimes I don't have the wide shot I wish I had. I have no drone, no way to physically get far enough back to show the scale. So when I'm sitting here editing and that piece is missing, this is where I go look for it. Sometimes I find a clip that's almost perfect, but the color or framing doesn't quite fit with the rest of my footage. They have got an AI video editing tool that helps it match. But their library doesn't just have footage. There are music, sound effects, even motion graphic templates, all made by actual filmmakers, artists, and musicians. Most platforms, you search the way you would search Google. Type the exact word, hope it matches a tag. But half the time, I don't know the word. I know the feeling. Something that feels lonely, something that feels like coming home, something that feels like the calm right before a storm. That's where Storyblocks Conversational Search is so useful. I just describe what I'm trying to feel, and it actually understands me. Same thing works for music and sound effects. I'm just describing the moment I want the viewer to feel. And that's the whole point, really. The list, the edit, all of it, they're all tools to help tell your story. You film what you can, you find the rest where you can, but the most important part is the story. Everything else is just there to support it. Remember how I said it's okay that your mind goes completely blank? You don't need inspiration to start. Sometimes inspiration shows up after you start. These 5 shots are just the cheat sheet that gets you moving.